All right, this is the Six for Sixers podcast. We are up in the building. I'm your host, Creek. Got my brother Greg, Sixer. They called him the Woj, the Sixers Woj. But
The
then
baby
Woj
Woj,
retired,
baby Woj.
baby Woj. But then Woj retired.
But he
So
retired, so
yeah, so
you
you
know what
on
I
your
mean?
own now. You got it now.
Hey,
You know what I
listen,
mean?
yep, it's all me.
He breaks all the Sixers news. He's very knowledgeable about the game. You know what I mean? My road dog on the Facebook page. And I'm gonna say this first of all, that we haven't been on YouTube in a while on the YouTube page because we've been mostly on the Facebook page. So we gotta commit, man. We gotta do like I don't know, at least once every couple weeks, come on here and do something for the YouTube people because we do have a smaller following on YouTube. The bigger following is on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Um, so this Six for Sixers, we talk all things Sixers. We haven't been on this in a while since the beginning of the season, so this is prime time. Part of it is we've been getting our hearts broken, you know what I mean, and we've
Absolutely.
been kind of depressed.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely takes you on a roller coaster if you let it.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk. We got a couple topics again. We don't try to belabor the point here. We're gonna go 30 minutes strong, and so I'm gonna open up the forum, bro. We're just talking about the Sixers in general, and let's just talk about the current state of Sixers. Now, I will say this: a lot has gone on since we last got on the podcast. So we've seen Joel Embiid came back from injury, but then he went back down. We had
Yep.
Jared McCain went out for the season for injury. We had PG had some injuries to sideline him for a little bit. Drummond was injured. Maxey was injured for a brief spell. And then a string of sideline people just in and out, lineup changes, and so forth. So let me just ask you on a broad sense, and we'll go into detail late as we talk. What
Cool.
is your impression of the Sixers right now?
I mean, who knows? I'll tell you. Personally, I feel like um I'm a little bit shocked that we are as bad as we are, without Joel. And the reason why I say a little bit is because it is an entirely new team, right? So I try to put things in perspective, and I try to remind people that Daryl Morey himself said that this could be anywhere from a 1 year to a 3 year process, right? Daryl Morey signed an extension prior to the start of the season, and that puts him here for an additional 3 years, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah.
So he already knew that there was a chance that the first try might not work. What they did bank on was Paul George, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey. Those are the only sure shots, and
Mhm.
they're going to be here for the duration. But everything outside of that, he said that it'll be interchangeable. We'll see what works, and we're going to use our assets when needed. So when I try to not be emotional and bring it back to that, that makes me feel, I can be more rational and say, hey, the guy he knows it's a bad product, and he knows that he's going to have to do something because he's in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is nothing but, when it comes to sports, winners. So whether we win it all or not, we're winners. So he knows he has to do something.
All right. Good points. Now I'm gonna throw some questions out there. Now, he did say 1 to 3 years. Now, when I think of a process, I think of something building. Like 1 year, we're in the Eastern Conference Finals. We see that. Then we add a piece, we change something out. Okay, then the next year, we're back there and we're more competitive, or maybe we make it to the finals. And then the third year, we win the finals. I see that this season has been a regression. So I'm trying to understand, did he mean, and I'm asking you what you think he meant by a 1 to 3 year process. Did he mean just we're gonna try things out for 3 years?
No.
Or are we gonna see if are we building on something? Because it seems like
So
this year is a
so
complete failure so far.
so to put perspective there, um, when he says that, right, that is that is with the hope that Joel Embiid is healthy, right? Joel Embiid is the is what changed, right? Because I mean, obviously they knew he had injury, but I don't believe that they thought it would be this bad, right? None of us did. So
Right.
that's the hook. Now, if everything went perfect, right? And what I mean by that is if Joel would have had good health throughout, we wouldn't be in this situation, I don't believe. So it would be working perfect. The reason why he said 1 to 3 years is because anything can happen when it comes to health. And anytime that he said it, it was always saying with good health. This is a
Right.
1 to 3 year plan with good health because no one can predict health. Now we can go down a rabbit hole. We don't have time, but the rabbit hole would go into them signing the contract, which will be on. We could do another podcast for,
Mhm.
but them extending Joel, with the doctors that checked him out and why they did it and so forth.
Right.
So
Yeah. That's my question is that, somebody on the Facebook page posed this question, like, who is to blame? And like I was critical of Morey last season. And
mhm.
then because I didn't like Morey's track record in Houston, what he did with Houston, I didn't like the way that team was constructed. And then I didn't really like, it seemed like, I liked him bringing Harden over, but then look what happened with Harden. I thought that they did probably have a handshake agreement behind closed doors. Harden, I don't think Harden would have expressed himself that way if he didn't really feel like they had an agreement. So I felt like, and it's a lot of things swirling Morey in general. Just Chris Paul said some things about him, and just that he just kind of like not really a basketball guy, more of a like an analytical guy, trying to put guys together that he think can mesh. But it
Mhm.
really takes a basketball mind to put a really good team together. So I've been critical of him, but I will say when he went out and got PG, re-signed Oubre, got Yabusele, who came from the Olympics, did well in the Olympics, signed him, and even some of the other pieces that he signed and re-signing Maxi, and even Joel Embiid at the time, I thought that was you got to give Embiid his money. How can you not? I
Yeah.
thought he did well, but now it looks bad, man. PG's
Well,
not
well,
there.
I think. Well, let's put it. Let's add more perspective. So, like you said, well, you need a basketball mind. I mean, respectfully, I think he is a basketball mind because analytics are a part of basketball. It's just not the part that everyone necessarily prefers.
Right.
You're a person that if you ever touch the rock, a lot of times you prefer chemistry, right? The word
Yeah.
chemistry, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
analytics and chemistry are two things, right? That kind of collide to make
Mhm.
what we see, right? So some people don't have respect for one side or the other, but it's all needed, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like yeah, some might lean a little more to the left or to the right, but I think that it's all needed. And I think at the time when Josh Harris hired Daryl, he probably still was the best GM because he's always known to make big deals and move, and he's a mover and shaker regardless of whatever we think about him. What I try to do is I try to look at what do execs say about him, not even players, because that's
Right.
like if you go to work and you say, well, hey, what do you think about the boss? We're not on the
Yeah.
same level, so the boss,
Right.
the worker's going to say a lot of things about the boss because the boss is the one directing them, right?
Right.
So
Right.
where I draw my thoughts of an executive is from other executives, and other executives highly respect him as an executive.
I agree with that because he did win, I think, GM of the year or some one year when he was in Houston. So he is highly respected as an executive. I just think some of the moves have been questionable, and I think that
Whose
that
aren't though? Whose moves
I,
haven't? What team has no questionable moves? You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
some
But
teams
you can
that's
argue.
rolling, man.
You
I
can
mean, I
argue
can mention
Boston.
about 5 or 6 right off the hand.
No, no,
That
no, no. What I mean is, you can argue Boston, right? You can argue there are some execs that may have fared better, right? Because they probably had health on their side. But what I'm saying is, everybody's moves are to be questioned because that's the nature of the job. You know what I mean? Something might not work, and when it doesn't, yeah, you're going to take the heat. So I'm all about giving the heat to him. But I'm just saying, anybody you brought in could actually still end up being questionable, because I feel like on the same token, if we bring in a guy that's just all about chemistry and don't use analytics at all, then what does that look like? Do we know? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I
I don't
think you
know.
know more that way than you do with analytics. Analytics just don't work out because if you're looking at analytics, you're just looking at the numbers. And the numbers with Paul George just are not what they were last season, even. So that's not that is this flat out will throw the whole thing off. You expecting 20 out of Paul George a game, and you're getting like what 13? I
Oh, for
think
sure. That's why I
you know what
said
I'm
it's a
saying.
melting pot.
So
It all works
that
together.
throws the whole thing off right there.
Oh, for
And
sure. It's
then with Embiid, even injuries aside, some of these games, man, we still should be winning even without Joel Embiid. If Paul George is playing up to capability, he's not injured. I mean, you know, he's been in and out, but he's just not playing well. So I don't know, man. That unfortunately is going to fall on Daryl Morey picking Nick Nurse, who really Nurse looks like he just doesn't know what to do, in my opinion.
mm,
I feel bad for Nurse in a sense because it's so many lineup changes and guys in and out. But
yeah.
some of these games, man, we should be winning some of these games. We're losing like all of them.
All of
You
them.
know?
All of them, man.
Yeah. We
It's
barely beat
it's
the Wizards. We barely beat the Wizards. That came down to
it's
the
really
end.
bad. It's
It's,
really bad. But yeah, like I said, I think it's a melting pot. I think you need all of it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not a pro super analytic person either. I'm saying because I've touched the rock too. So I'm with the
yeah.
chemistry. I'm just saying you need it all. You can't just say I can only have this or only have that, because injuries are what still determine whether something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Injuries are huge. I mean, you look at Denver Nuggets, who beat us by over 30 last night. But if Nikola Jokic goes down with injury, that's
What do
going
they
to
look like? What do they
change
look
their
like?
team. Yeah, that's true. You
What do
know,
they
and
look
any
like?
other team who have their superstar. So I get that. I'm not saying we should be winning all these games. Denver Nuggets, that's a tough game. But I think we should have been able to beat the Pacers. I think we should have been able to beat the Wizards. I think
Mhm.
that we should have been able to beat Golden State when we played Golden State. Golden State in the West is terrible,
Terrible.
and then they trashed us. You
Terrible.
know, so I just think that those are games that we should be able to win with the personnel that we have, and that's the big disappointment for me. It's not
No
Joel being
effort.
injured.
There's no
Yeah, it's
effort.
low
There's no
effort,
effort.
man.
There's no effort from the guys. You know what I mean? That's the problem. There's no effort. I feel like on, some nights it's like they start out good, and then as soon as they get down, they give up.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. How big do you think, because I think this is huge, but I think how big do you think Jared McCain's injury to the team was in terms of impacting their ability to win? How big do you rate his what
It
he
ended
brought to
up
the team?
it ended up being enormous because of his. I mean, that kid's still leading scoring, and he haven't played in months. He
Right.
just still
I
still
know, right?
leading. You know what I mean? Like
He's still
who would
leading the
have?
rookies. He's
He's still
still
leading
leading
the
the rookies.
rookies. That's what
Yeah.
he's still leading rookies, and he ain't played in months.
Yeah.
So that was Daryl Morey and them finding another gem. You know what I mean? Like just like Maxi, like he's a gem, and I hope that they able to hang on to some of those guys, because if Joel ever is actually able to play again, it can be really good for us. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was it was a major impact.
Yeah, I think that was major. I think that we would have won some of those games. He added to me another element
Yeah. We don't
to
have
a
no
lot of.
ball handling. And the ball handling we do have are the really old guys, and they even hurt. So I mean, like we have nothing. You know what I mean? So,
Now,
it's just
I'm gonna challenge you on this, man, because not Lowry,
Doughton,
no, not Doubt, you said the
Jackson,
old guys, dang,
Jackson,
no, the I can't even think of Eric Gordon,
Gordon.
Gordon. Yeah, Gordon
What
had
about
some good games, bro. You were getting on Gordon in the Facebook page saying he was didn't have Gordon had some good games, bro. What's your issue
listen?
with Gordon? Gordon's still putting up
So so
he
my so
put up
so
double
so
digits.
so so I'm gonna say this. Now, I defended Gordon early on because my brother was the first one that was on Gordon. I wasn't. It was my brother. My brother didn't like Zaire. He was all over Gordon. He was like, the guy old, he done. Early on, I didn't necessarily see it that way because I felt like he could still shoot. And what you have saw him display is that talent. He still can shoot, right?
Yeah,
The problem with him is he don't have enough left in the tank for the duration, right? He can start out the game, but he can't play a second half. If you pay
right.
attention to him, he can't go more than 20 minutes. I mean, max. And what I'm
Yeah,
saying is, and that's even if you break it up, by the second half, he's absolutely gassed. So that's the
yeah,
problem. He can still shoot. And then the biggest thing, you already know, I call him a traffic
yeah.
cone because he's a traffic
I
cone to me. Like he
know.
can't move. His whole bottom, he
I,
can't move his bottom,
I,
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He looks a bit heavy too. It looks a little bit
Yeah.
out of shape to me. But I still, man, think he's contributing. He's doing a lot more than Jackson is doing, that's for sure.
Right, but
For
our,
older
our
guys.
biggest our biggest I think our biggest issue, well, one of our biggest issues is defending, and he can't, keeping up with the defense. He
Yeah,
can't defend. Like, I mean, he has hit some shots, but again, he's too tired to stop any shots, right? You got to stop shots,
yeah,
too.
yeah,
And he can't stop nobody.
yeah. And I'll give him this. McCain's injury impacted that too, and Kyle Lowry being out because I don't think that Gordon or Jackson was really supposed to get significant minutes, and Gordon is getting more significant minutes because McCain is out and Kyle Lowry is out.
Kyle
So it puts
Lowry
a
was
more
another good
pressure
loss
on
for him.
him.
He was a good loss. It's good. Kyle, I mean, I don't
It
like
was-
to say people got hurt. Yeah, only because Nick Nurse has this an affinity with him, and having an affinity with him hurts us because the same thing, man. Kyle, as much as he wants to, as much as he's probably the most mentally tough person we got on our team, his body don't move anymore. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah, I
he
do, I
wants
do.
to do things he can't do. He's
Right,
mentally tough and he knows what he wants to do, but his body don't move anymore. Like he's done.
yeah,
He's
he
done.
can't do it.
He's
So moving ahead, the trade deadline is coming up in like a couple weeks.
right.
If you were GM, would you be trying to make some moves or would you already be looking to next season?
So the problem with that is Joel, right? So if Joel was playing, or either if Joel didn't get this latest knee swelling that he got last week, it's been about a week now. If he
Mhm.
hadn't got that latest knee swelling, then I would say yes because I would know, hey, he's this deadline is going to come down to the day. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is we're gonna have to see where Joel is in the next week. If we see where he
Right.
is over the next week, and we know, hey, okay, he's been practicing, the knee swelling is subsided, and he can give it a run, then yeah, I mean, why you gotta try it. You did all this to try. You know what I mean? But if not, then no, you kind of gotta you can't really do anything. I mean, because I mean, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Like, it's like I
So,
don't know.
so hypothetically, if they were going to trade somebody from the Sixers, who would be the ones that you think we
Well,
need to let go?
obviously. Well, I'll tell you this: what they could do. I don't want them to do it, but they could package uh, KJ Martin, Drummond, and Oubre, and they could bring in somebody making 30 million a year, right?
Right.
Just with that package. So
Yeah.
you could bring in a big time player, right? Because
Yeah.
somebody making 30 million a year probably would be pretty impactful.
Yeah.
Um, especially at the power forward position. Um, but right now, obviously, with the injuries we have, you kind of need that another wing, but that could probably, Dorian Finney-Smith, he went to L.A., so that's
Yeah.
out the window.
Yeah. That's the
Um,
one we
so
wanted, right?
so so now you kind of need ball handling, because McCain is hurt. So it's a really tough position because if you're going to try to keep McCain around, do you really bring in another ball hand? You know what I mean, ball handler. But I feel like we kind of gotta. I kind of think we need to split it. I think we need two players. I think we need two guys that's kind of making around that mid-level $15 million.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we do need a ball handler, whether McCain comes back or not, just for insurance.
Yeah.
Simply because what that does is take Maxi, release Maxi of the ball handling duty, and allows him to become the scorer, right?
Yeah.
And then I think we still need size. Clearly, you saw that with the game with Denver, right? We was actually
Yeah.
embarrassed because Jokic was snatching the ball from three people. And I
Oh,
only
it's
watched
terrible.
highlights. I didn't even watch the game. It was ridiculous. I've never done that. I've never did a highlight game, but I did that. That's what I did last night because that was
Yeah,
terrible.
it was bad,
Um,
man. The rebounding disparity was crazy. I mean,
yeah, so we need two players. We
right
need two
here.
players. We need a ball handler, and then we need someone. I feel like probably at that power forward. I mean, a true big guy. You know what I mean?
Okay. Um, uh, what about Yabusele? Because we're not gonna get him back next season. He signed for like what, 2 million, 3 million, something like
The
that.
minimum, yeah, and
Yeah,
paid
and
some of it
1 year
itself.
deal.
Paid some of it itself. So he probably somewhere around like 800,000 that he's making. So depending on what we do in the summer, I mean, with the way things look, there's a possibility. I mean, they're slim, but there's a possibility over the summer we could work something out with him. But I don't know because we got to waive all of the old guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Yabusele is probably worth 15 million.
Probably yes.
So I don't see us re-signing him
Yeah.
next season. Oubre a 1 year deal or a two?
Ubre's 2 or 3. Yeah, two. I think two. Yeah.
Multiple. Okay. All right. All right. Next talk. This is the big question on the page. Do we tank the season or do we try this gun for the play-in tournament and then, hey, Embiid's back, Maxey, George, everybody's healthy. We're in a good position where we would really be an underranked, I mean, like over underranked team coming in the play-in tournament because we'd be playing the worst teams in the league, but yet we have all these people and we've had all these injuries. What would you say if you were what do we do now? Do we tank the season and just like look, just sit Joel down, or do we try to go make a run at it, the play-in?
Um, this is Philadelphia sports. And in Philadelphia sports, and in Philadelphia city, we gritty, we tough, and we grind things out. And tanking, we done that for 20 years, in my opinion.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
been
mean?
20 years,
Um,
man.
for tanking. So there's no tanking. The reason why there's no tanking because it doesn't really guarantee you much anymore, right? And people that say that, I really question their knowledge of the business side of the game, right?
Yeah,
Because we
yeah,
can sit here and talk X's and O's, which we don't do a lot of that. But
right,
when it comes to the business side, you'll find is if you go based on the internet, they're grossly ignorant to like
yeah,
how it really works. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like they just don't know what they're talking about.
right.
So I would much rather. Obviously, it depends on the health of Joel, but I mean, technically, we're already tanking. I mean, look at our record. You know what I'm saying
But I
we
don't think
tank without trying.
we're
We
not
tank without
intentionally.
trying. You know what I mean? Like so.
Well, when we were in the tank era, they put an inferior team out there, more or less guys who were like G League players, and they were intentionally trying to lose. It seemed they were. Um, they're not really doing that. They're trying to win. They're just not putting forth effort. So maybe they're tanking in a different
So
way.
what's the difference?
Well, the difference is they are like when you see Maxi, he's not in on it. I mean, if they're trying to tank, Maxie's not in on it. He's
I
trying to
think what I'm
win.
saying to you. I think what I'm saying to you. What's the result?
Yeah, I mean, we're losing. I get
Right.
that, but
See. So I mean
but
that
not
because
on purpose. Not
Cause,
on
cause,
purpose.
cause, I mean, we're losing. So, I mean, what would be? So now you're gonna just put the other guys out there, and we still losing. Like, you know what I mean? So, I just don't. I feel like if Embiid can come back, yeah, we're not gonna get on a run, and I don't think a championship or a deep run is probably out of the question. But what I would like them to do is for Embiid to come back, and for them to actually try to the main players that are going to be here get some chemistry, man. Because listen, you guys were paid, almost $1 billion, and
Right.
I mean, y'all got to get on the floor and get some. Because look, what does that even say about next year? So you think that okay, we tank and we get this pick that's not guaranteed. It's not even
That's not even
guaranteed,
guaranteed. I
right?
know.
So what are we doing? But people keep saying tanking. Tanking isn't the answer. What
No,
is
it's
that going
not.
to do for you? So get these guys on the floor whenever that is. Because Miami showed us that you can show up at the end and still go on a run, you know?
Yes, they
So
did.
so my
Yes,
thing is get on the floor, right? Because that tanking is an emotional conversation. It's
yes,
everybody say they all emotional. Oh man, screw it. We just wanna tank. But does tanking really put us in a different position for like guaranteed? It doesn't.
it
It's just
doesn't.
another wish. So I
Yeah.
would much rather the guys we paid to show up and start playing together, even if it is for a couple of months at the end, and show us what it could be next season if they go ahead, continue to work together throughout the summer, and then they
Right.
put together some packages where we can have some better surrounding players. I would rather see that because tanking isn't going to get us anywhere. Honestly, it's not.
Let me add to that, and I agree with you 100%. I hated the tanking era, and this is why. Losing on purpose, it breeds a culture of mediocrity. That's my main thing. You and people will say, "Oh, we wouldn't have got this player if that would have. This is how we got this player, whatever, through tanking." You never would hear a Boston Celtic fan talk about losing on. Just forget it. Just lose on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Boston, LA Lakers, those storied franchises, they're always trying to win, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what the circumstances. And they're always just trying to build or piece things together through the draft. You never hear them saying, I forget it, in the middle of a season. You
Never.
only hear Philly fans, and New York is another example. You never hear New York fans talking about, oh, let's just tank the season. You only hear Philly talking about tanking the season. And what I think is my grand theory on that, which I've never put out there, I was going to write an article at 6for6 about it, is that the reason why the Sixers can't win now is because the organization itself has bred this culture of a loser's culture, where they just try to lose to win, which
Mm-hmm.
didn't work. And now you have the culture when players come here, they come here like, whatever, let me just get my bread. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they don't come there like they wouldn't go to Boston and try that.
Yeah.
Because Boston has their franchise just says, like Joe Mazzulla, when he just looks tough, man. Like when we don't have that. We have a culture where it's like PG was balling out last season with the Clippers. Then he comes in us and it's like, it's lazy town, man. It's like those guys, they just don't respect the franchise, I don't think.
The only person left from that area is Joel, right?
Yeah.
We have all new guys, and I don't. I mean, I'm respectfully, I disagree with that's our culture. That ain't our culture here, because you know why? You know what the proof is? I'm gonna give you the proof right now. The
Mm-hmm.
proof is you don't agree with that. You're from here, right?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I'm from here.
Right.
So we
I'm
have to stop. So we got to stop labeling ourselves something we're not. We're not that. I'm not
not,
that. I
not
don't
I'm
agree
not
with
talking
that.
about Philly. I
Yeah,
know
no, no,
Philly.
no. I'm saying you'll see that online, right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna see some of that stuff. You're gonna hear some of that stuff. But the overwhelming majority, we want to fight. We want them to go
Yes.
out there, and we want them to. But what happens is people say things like that. Oh, the culture there. No, the culture there is me. I'm the culture because I'm a
Mhm.
part of this fan base. I go down there. I want them to win. You're a part of the fan base. We freaking sickos. So what I'm
Right.
trying to tell you is that's false. We want to win just as much as a Boston fan wants to win.
I,
Now, the
I don't. I agree
organization,
with you. I agree with you.
the organization, top to bottom, is all new people. You know what I mean? So I'm not even gonna put that on them because the young guys I know they got now, from Jeff to my young guy from Imhotep, what's his name? Justin Edwards. Like
Mhm.
these
Yeah.
guys ball out, man. They tough, gritty dude. They ain't trying to lose. They hate losing.
All right. So
So
here's my point. Remember when the Boston coach got caught up in that scandal where he
yeah,
was supposedly messing with somebody in the organization, whatever. He cheated on Nia Long. Remember that?
he made Doka. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts. Yeah.
Now, when that happened and they got rid of him, I just knew. I said, that's the end of ball. Like, there's no way. they can pick up a new coach and they just keep rolling and keep winning. They can do that. Like, credit to Joe Mazzulla, good coach, so. But to me, it's the culture in Boston that says we're not that we have high standard. I don't see that even in LA, and they're not even on the top of the division. I still feel like every year LA is like, yo, we are the Lakers. We
Right.
we don't Denver Nuggets, they have built their team up to where they have that pride too, that real pride. I just don't see that in Philadelphia. I don't see New York Knicks. Their fan base is crazy, man. They come and take over our arena. So I just think, like, I know the reputation of Philly, always fighting, man. You know what I mean? Brawlers. I don't see it with the Sixers. I see it with the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't see it with the Sixers. And I think my theory is that all those years of let's just lose on purpose so we can get some draft picks. Yeah, let's just keep losing. Winless for Wiggins. Remember that when they were saying that? Winless for Wiggins. They wanted to get Andrew Wiggins. Now it's tanking for Cooper Flag. Where did that come from in Philadelphia 76ers sports culture where our fans, and I know me and you were saying, but then you got whole half of fans that are fans that been lifelong fans, just like me and you saying,
You
hey,
know why?
let's just
You know why?
tank. Let's just
Because they don't have people like me fighting back on that BS. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is that's my point. My point is those other fan they ain't no different than I mean the other fan bases don't allow it. They're gonna fight it tooth and nail. I'm gonna fight anybody that says that. That's not our culture. I don't agree with you, and I think that that's something that we have certain naysayers that we allow their voices to be larger than ours. We allow their voices to be
yeah.
bigger than ours. My voice is that's not the way. My voice is that we allow them to say it and then we run with it and say, oh, like you said, where did that come from? Somebody got on here on their page, on their thing and said it. Hey, let's tank for Coop. I don't want to do that. He said that.
Yeah.
I don't believe
Yeah.
that. That's what he said. I'm not him. But see, those
Yeah.
other cultures, like New York and all them, New York, LA, see these places you name it, they're mass media markets. Those people get on
Yeah.
there and they rebut that and say, no, we don't know what he talking about. We don't want to do that. We fight back.
Right.
So like our people
Yeah.
like you, us doing this, we fight back and we say, hey, go watch this podcast. We ain't about that. We don't want to tank for
Right.
nobody. We want them to fight. So see, once people hear more of that, then they'll say, you know what, them
Yeah.
dudes want to roll. They want to fight. So that's where it comes from. Their mass media don't give up. They fight back people that say these things that they don't have a good culture. They want to fight. Yes, we do. And we want to fight and we don't want to tank. And none of the players, like I said, the players have not said that. And I don't think they do.
No, they
Do
haven't.
while
Yeah.
we may have one or two in there that's not giving effort or what have you, but I tell you what, the one leader that we do have is Tyrese. Tyrese hates losing. He's talked about it and he's continuing to fight. He's continuing to fight. He's
Perfect.
not giving up.
Perfect segue into that, which was be my final discussion point. Tyrese Maxey. Now let me say my piece and I'm gonna let you go. I feel really bad for Maxey because Maxey's demeanor as a professional has changed this season, in my opinion. Maxey used to be upbeat, fun, seemed like he was really enjoying the game. He does not seem like he's enjoying it this year. He allegedly confronted Joel Embiid in a team meeting about Joel's commitment to, events, being on time, so forth. All of that is important. Maxey in his post-game interviews really looks depressed. Like he looks like he just doesn't even want to be there. And I think that being the A-list guy, which he's not, we know that, like, he needs other guys to help. I think that is wearing on him. And I just wonder, would he request a trade, this season, at the end of the season, because he's wasting his career. He's coming up on his prime years. He's not really there yet, but he's playing so well. I mean, he had an all-star season last year. He's not going to be an all-star this year. What do you think of Tyrese and his mentality most of anything? Not really his on the court, because he's really playing hard. His shooting has been streaky, but what do you think about us and retaining him because I think we're losing him.
All right, so well, I'll tell you what I think. Maxey has just signed for $250 million. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think that just listening to his interview yesterday, um, the media snippets can be misleading, right? So, and
Mhm.
I'm a person because I go to so many games and I'm like seeing these guys on a constant basis, I feel like we miss a lot. We just see what the worst possible scenario might be, and we run with it because we don't have any more information. So listening to everything that he said, yeah, as a human being, he admitted that he did have a bit of a disposition in the early part of the season. He allowed it to get to him because as a young, still a very young guy and young career, you make mistakes, and he admitted that was a mistake. But he has since said that he has learned that he is a professional. He needs to be that way. When he is in his hotel room with his family, whatever, he can express different things. These are things he said out of his mouth. He said, but being a professional, I was actually wrong. He's like, and I'm trying to right that. Now, even with us losing, and as much as I hate losing, I'm here for the long haul. I love this city. I want to stay here. I want to be here. And I'm as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to be here. So I think I personally that put it to bed for me. I don't think he's ready to leave. I just think he's frustrated like anybody else with the leaving and with the losing, and he wants to try to find a way. He said to really keep the guys upbeat and motivated because everybody ain't making $250 million like him. You know, some of these guys is on minimums and different things.
Yeah,
So you know that's a lot to go through, even though they still much richer than most of us, even on minimums. Like, let me not,
right.
you know, but this is why I don't necessarily feel sorry for Nick Nurse and Maxie and all of them. But I do
Yeah,
empathize with the fact
right.
that it is a tough situation. But I think we'll be okay. He'll be okay in the long run. And it's just it's a growing thing. So when we do start winning, he'll appreciate it.
Got you. All right. Well, I'll go with that. I didn't hear that interview where he
Yeah,
affirmed.
it was I well probably around 7 o'clock. It was on 97.5. D Lineham, she was on there and she said, I got an interview. I want y'all to hear from Maxie because we want to address his body language and stuff in the interviews. And so he addressed it.
Okay, cool. All right. Last question. Prediction time. Let's fast forward to the end of the season. Where do you see the Sixers?
Factually, I don't think we're gonna pretty bad. I think we may move into the play-in if Joel comes back. Um I think best case scenario we get to the first round and lose. But I don't know if we'll make it because I'm not certain with Joel's health. So it's not even really fair for me to even make a prediction because without Joel, we may not even make the play in.
Right, I agree. Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say health, let's say health goes well, Joel comes back, everybody's healthy. I say I maybe overshooting myself a little bit, but I don't see a team that except Boston that could beat us in 7 games with everybody healthy. I don't think the Knicks can do it, even with Carl Anthony Towns and the way he's playing. I don't think Milwaukee can do it. Boston will be the only team that I think. So I'm gonna go.
So no Cleveland. You don't think Cleveland could do it?
No, I don't believe in Cleveland, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I think Cleveland's gonna have a great regular season, but I think they're going to get really disappointed in the playoffs. I don't know if it's because of my years of Cleveland. I mean, when they had LeBron, obviously they were good, but I mean, I just don't believe in Donovan. I don't believe in Donovan Mitchell. He's a great player. I just don't believe that they're gonna win the East. I just don't. I
I
don't
think
think
I
it's
think
going to
I
be even
got
close.
I think I made that mistake in the beginning of the season. They had a roundtable. It was about it was like a podcast where they had Milwaukee's podcaster, they had the Sixers podcasters, they had Orlando, and everybody kept talking about yeah, it was Cleveland, Milwaukee, Orlando, and the Sixers. The four of them, and everybody kept talking all around Cleveland and saying they didn't mention them. It was like, and the guy was like, "Well, hey, you know, he was like, out of everybody here, we have created some chemistry.
You're right, right. Yeah,
He
they do
said we
have that.
created that chemistry, and we're the only team that's still together. He's like, and I think we're gonna make a good run. And they said, oh yeah, yeah, you guys might yeah, we'll see. You guys have a chance. Those guys been the best squad,
The best
in
team.
the so I'm not gonna I can't look past chemistry because they got it. And
They
and
do.
sometimes that's all it really takes. And I think that they have stepped up a bit defensively because I
Right.
think that's what they've always been missing is the defense. So I give them a chance, man. I would not like to say they could beat the Sixers in the sixth game, but I think with the state of us not having chemistry, we're vulnerable to the Knicks, I feel like Cleveland and Boston. I think we're vulnerable to all three. Orlando, I don't really believe in them because I don't think they have enough offense when needed, and I
Right.
don't really believe in Milwaukee like that anymore. So I
No.
think that, in my opinion, the Boston, Cleveland, only because they should have some respect with the best record. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
they should, man. They're
Um,
36-6. And
they
I
beat
I
everybody.
need to put some respect on that, really. 36-6, man. And they're 7 games ahead of the Celtics in first place. So they're gonna win first place in the East.
Absolutely.
And really, honestly, man, if we go in the play-in tournament, if we do, I mean, we're 4 games back of the Bulls, which is the 10th spot. It's the 10th spot, right? That we
It's
need
the
to
10th
get.
spot.
Yeah, so we're 4 games off of that.
And you got to survive that, man. You got to play. You got to be able to beat the teams in the play-in, man. And those teams playing pretty well. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling
I
you,
think we can beat them. I'm saying though, if we get out of the play-in and into the playoffs, we're probably going to be matched up with Cleveland first round.
Cleveland first round. I'm telling you. That's why I said I think we would lose in the first round if we can get healthy and go on a good run. But I mean, I don't even know if I see that right now. I see, yeah, we could probably end up in the play-in. I can see that, but that's going to even probably be a knockdown drag out because Paul George is playing like Tobias Harris.
Oh man, don't be going on. My man Tobias has started a new life in Detroit, and Detroit is seventh in the East, bro. So I was riding for Tobias. That was my dude, man. Can't That's my boy, man. I think Tobias. I'm not even gonna go off on him, but I think that Tobias has played better than Paul George, honestly.
They're close. They're close. Yeah, slightly. Tobias has been playing slightly better than Paul
Because
George.
here's
Yeah.
why I say that. Tobias was not a second option like Paul
Hmm.
George is a second option.
Right.
Tobias was a third or fourth option in some cases when Harden was there. Harden, Maxey, and B. Then Tobias sitting in the corner. Paul George is second to me. If when Embiid is out, he's second. You know what I mean, to
Yeah.
Maxey,
He
and
should be. He
he
should be.
should be he should be doing a lot more. Tobias
Should be.
didn't have that
I
opportunity.
can't. I just feel like Tobias had so much time. You know what I mean? Like to do like you know what I mean. Paul hasn't had that kind of time where I could really kind of
Right.
really. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be fair for me to really say what's what. Personally, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like Paul George has been such a letdown that I could see where you're coming from, but I still need a little more time before I put him in the total Tobias bucket.
Yeah, don't put him there. And Tobias is doing well. Tobias proved a lot of people wrong because he went over to Detroit and he's like a veteran over there, leader.
Right.
They got a young core, but they need his stability as a veteran.
He
And he
did.
just didn't get that opportunity in Philly. They never really looked at him like that.
Yeah.
Um, so, all right, man, that's the Six for Sixers podcast. Creek Creek and my brother Greg. We're gonna sign off for now. Appreciate it. Let's hope for the best. Oh, we got Go Eagles right there.
Yeah.
This
Hey, I was gonna
this
say don't leave that out.
I'm not leaving that out, bro. I'm kind of sweating the little BBs. I'm gonna tell you, we're not gonna get off on the game on the Eagles because it's the Sixers, but I'm sweating a few BBs, man, because the NFL is about who gets hot at the right time, and the
Uh-huh.
Commanders are smoking hot right now. And I got a lot of friends from that DMV area,
Yeah.
man, and they all bearing down on me, man, Commander fans. So I'm hoping that the Eagles, Saquon, I hope that Jalen Hurts' knee is good and everything. They can pull it out.
Yeah. I like to say we have a much better defense than Detroit Lions. I'll leave it there.
We do, man. Oh yeah, yeah. Leave
We
that
have
right
a
there.
much better defense. And if my memory serves me correct, I believe that the Commanders are missing a prominent guard right now
Yeah.
that will probably open that thing up for my man Jalen Carter to get to the young boy. So
Yes, sir. And we got a much better offensive line too.
yeah, so he ain't gonna be comfortable sitting back there throwing, you know. He
Nah.
gonna
They
be
had
on
him
this.
on the run the last time they played.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
Jalen got knocked out the game, so I don't even count that game with
no,
with
I don't count
10.
that game. No, that didn't count because
Because they
we had
got that dirty player over there on that Commander squad.
yeah.
The one that knocked Jalen out. He's dirty.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna get it back. We're gonna get it back. All right, Sixers podcast. We're gonna get up here, man. We're gonna say at least once every 2 weeks. Matter of fact,
Yeah, absolutely.
when the trade deadline passes, we'll come back on and discuss any moves that have been made, not just Sixer moves, but other moves and how they might impact the Sixers going forward. We'll look for the record at that point. Right now, we're at 15-27. And yeah, man, it's bad. We on a losing streak, and
Really bad.
yeah, the last 10 games we are 2-8, 20%. So we're down 21 games. So
And look at that
hopefully,
schedule. The schedule, a lot of back-to-backs, and they're against really good teams.
yep. All right, man. We out of here. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Sixers, we out. Peace.
Later.